Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Welcome to our Shabbat celebration. We begin our service at this dark time of the year by bringing light into ourselves, into our homes, into our sanctuary. We light the Shabbat candles on page 120 in your Siddur. Gabrielle, would you honor us with lighting the candles?
I would be most glad. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
We continue on page 130 with L'chu Neranena. Come, let us sing joyously to Adonai.
L'chu neranena l'Adonai nari al-tzur yisheno nekadma fanav betoda bizmirot nari alo nekadma fanav betoda bizmirot nari alo
that many of our psalms that we use on Shabbat use the word to sing or song. We have Shiru Ladonai, a song for Shabbat, a song to God. Zamru Ladonai, a song to God, sing praise to God. Mizmor LaDavid, a song of David. Songs and music are the language of prayer. They bring life and soul to the words that we sing. And so I encourage you to sing from your heart, even if you don't think you can sing. Sing your own song.
You're praying anyways.
That's right, in whatever notes you happen to use. Zamru Ladonai, page 134.
Zamru l'Adonai bechinor, bechinor v'kol zimra, b'chatzotrot v'kol shofar, hariyu lifnei hamelech Adonai.
David, a psalm of David. Ascribe to Adonai, O divine beings. Ascribe to Adonai glory and strength. Page 136, Mizmor LeDavid.
Mizmor LeDavid, havu l'Adonai ben Eli. Mizmor LeDavid, havu l'Adonai kavod ba'oz. Havu l'Adonai kavod ba'oz. Havu l'Adonai kavod shemo. Havu l'Adonai kavod ba'oz. Havu l'Adonai kavod shemo. Adonai yotz le'amo yiten. Adonai yevarech et amo v'shalom. Adonai yotz le'amo yiten. Adonai yevarech et amo v'shalom. Hey, nay, yalalay, yalalay, hay, yalalay, 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 hay, yalalay, yalalay, hay, yalalay, yalalay, Adonai yos le'amo yiten. Adonai yevarech et amo v'shalom. Adonai yos le'amo yiten. Adonai yevarech et amo v'shalom.
The Chadodi, a prayer that reminds us that Shabbat is that day of beginnings, a day that we rejuvenate ourselves, add our soul to all that is physical. And so we treat Shabbat as a bride. Page 138, we welcome Shabbat in all her glory.
Lecha dodi likrat kahala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kahala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad, השמיענו אל המיוחד. אדוני אחד ושמו אחד, לשם לתפארת ולתהילה. לך דודי לקראת קהלה, בני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת קהלה, בני שבת נקבלה. לקראת שבת לכו ונכה, כי היא מקור הברכה. מראש מקדם נסוכה, סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה. לך דודי לקראת קהלה, בני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת קהלה, בני שבת נקבלה. התעוררי, התעוררי, כי באורך קומי אורי. אורי, אורי, שתדברי, כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה. לך דודי לקראת קהלה, בני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת קהלה, בני תשתוכחי ומתהמי, בך יחסו עמי עמי, ונפנתה יראת הילה. לך דודי לקראת קהלה, בני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת קהלה, בני שבת נקבלה. בואי ושלום עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובצהלה, תוך אמונה עם סגולה. בואי חלה, בואי חלה, לך דודי לקראת קהלה, בני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת קהלה, בני שבת נקבלה.
One more psalm, page 140.
מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון, להגיד בבוקר חסדך ואמונתך בלילות, עלי עזור ועלי נבל, עלי היגיון בחינוך. צדיק כתמה יפרח, כארז בלבנון יסגן, שתולים בבית אדוני, בחצרות אלוהינו יפריחו, עוד ינובון בשיבה, דשנים ורעננים יהיו, להגיד כי ישר אדוני, צורי ולהבלת בו.
One more psalm, Mizmor Shir. That we just did that. Thank you. We mark the division between Kabbalat Shabbat and Arvit, the evening service, with Chatzi Kaddish, page 144.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, בעלמא דיברך חירותי וימליך מלכותי, בחייכון וביומכון ובחייתך בית ישראל, בעגלה בעגלה ובזמן קריב, ואמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מברך, לעולם ולעלמי עלמיה, יתברך, יתברך וישתבח, ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל, שמי דקדושה בריחו, לעילה מן כל בחטא ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, תמירן בהמה, ואמרו אמן.
Rise for Baruch Hu, page 146.
Baruch hu et Adonai hamevorach. Baruch Adonai hamevorach leolam vaed.
You may be seated. We read together at the top of page 149 together. Praise to you, Adonai our God, from whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the way on which time and season glide. Your breath guides the sail of the stars, creator of the tide of time and of light. You guide the current of day into night, as heaven spans into infinity. You set its course for eternity. Praise to you, Adonai our God, from whom the evening flows. Baruch atah Adonai, hama'ariv aravim. As we turned the page of our calendars yesterday to a new month, we are reminded of the flow of time, especially as we approach this season of the Festival of Lights that's coming in about 2.5 weeks, or 2 weeks in a couple of days. And all that has to do with rededicating ourselves, paying attention to our souls, reminding ourselves that as time moves on, God is yet eternal, and God's love is also eternal. And so we think about that eternity and the love that is unconditional that comes from God. I invite you to close your eyes and think inwards to the beating of your heart, that which sets your life in motion, the seat of love, as we get ready to pray the focal point of our faith, the Shema, the oneness of God.
Dear God, never remove your love from us. Praise to you, Adonai, who loves your people Israel. Baruch atah Adonai, ohev amo Yisrael. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. We continue on page 154. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך, ובשעריך. למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אמת. אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
You know, the word emet is a very special word. It is comprised of 3 letters, the Aleph, which is the first letter of the Hebrew alphabet, the Mem, which is the middle letter of the Hebrew alphabet, and the Tav, which is the end of the alphabet. That word brings the entire truth of all that is together. And so we read together in the middle of page 156 about truth. All this we hold to be true and trustworthy for us. You alone are our God, and we are Israel, your people. You are our sovereign and Savior, who delivers us from oppressors' hands and saves us from tyrants' fists. You work wonders without number, marvels beyond count. You give us life and steady our footsteps. You performed miracles for us before Pharaoh, signs and wonders in the land of the Egyptians. You led your people Israel out from their midst to freedom for all time. When your children witnessed your dominance, they praised your name in gratitude, and they accepted your sovereignty. Moses, Miriam, and all Israel sang to you together, lifting their voices joyously. We join together on page 158, our freedom prayer, Mi Chamocha.
Mi Chamocha, Vayelim Adonai, Mi Chamocha, Nedar Bakodesh, Nora Tehilot, Thus it is said, Adonai redeemed Jacob from a hand stronger than his own. Praised are you, Adonai, for redeeming Israel. Baruch atah Adonai, Ga'al Yisrael.
We ask God to grant us peace as we lie down at night and to raise us up to life renewed in the day ahead. Although we never know what the future may hold, we know that we are part of this line of eternity. And so we ask God to provide a shelter of peace for us, a Sukkot Shalom, like the Sukkah that we have on our Fall Harvest Festival. But we ask that for every day, that it should be as Sukkot. And so we join together with Hashkivenu on page 160, asking God for peace from day to day.
Ushmor tzedenu uvohenu lechayim uleshalom me'ata ve'ad olam ufros aleinu Sukkot Shalom echad Baruch atah Adonai haborei Sukkot Shalom. Yerushalayim. Amen. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. בני ובן בני ישראל, עוד היא לעולם, עוד היא לעולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, את הארץ. וביום השביעי, וביום השביעי, שבת ויהי נפש.
We rise for the tefillah, page 164. After the Adonai Sfatai, we will continue silently.
Adonai sfatai tiftach, ufi yagid, ufi yagid, tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may, that my mouth may declare your praise. We continue our service on page 180. Yehu l'ratzonim refi v'higyon libi lefanecha, Adonai tzuri v'goali. May the words of my mouth The meditations of my heart be acceptable to you, Adonai, my rock and my redeemer. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, v'yimru,
Amen.
Amen.
We finish the words of our tefillah, our central prayer, with the Misha Berach, asking God for healing for those in need of physical, spiritual, or intellectual healing, those in need of comfort at a time of mourning, those suffering from addictions. If there's a name you would like to bring into our sanctuary, I invite you to mention the name of your loved one now. And if you are on our virtual platforms, I invite you to put their names into the chat box and we will bring those in as well.
I'm thinking of Bill Harper.
David Rose. Mike Kokos. We add to those names Anita Muchnikoff, Barbara Bevins, John Faulkner, Mindy Gladstein, Karen Guth, Jerry Harmon, Zach Pesner, Elaine Solomon, Shirley Zeidman, Alan Boyarsky, Harav Emanuel Ben David, Dale Scully, Ed Schechter, Michael Hennig, Jerry Feldman, Marlene Pfaff, Shirley Hoffman, Florence Nagler, and Shirley Kaplan. Are there names to be mentioned from our virtual congregation? If not, we continue with the Misha Berach, page 371.
Misha Berach Avotenu Mekor HaBracha Li'imotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Misha Berach Imotenu Mekor HaBracha Lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shelema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
We wish all of them a refuah shlema, a speedy and complete return to perfect health. Amen.
Amen.
So Shakespeare once wrote, "We are such stuff as dreams are made on." In this week's Torah portion, we encounter one of the most famous dreams of Western literature. In fact, there is a toy named for this week's Torah portion theme. We hear about Jacob's ladder. Parashat Vayetze describes the dream that Jacob has while departing the land of Israel for his mother's homeland, Haran. In the dream, you may remember, Jacob sees a ladder or a stairway reaching from heaven to earth and back again, with angels ascending and descending the ladder. The presence of God stands at the top of the ladder. God calls out to Jacob from there, inviting him to enter the covenant that God established with Jacob's parents, Isaac and Rebekah, and his grandparents, Abraham and Sarah. God then tells Jacob that God will always be with them. Upon awakening from this remarkable vision, Jacob surveys his surroundings and exclaims, "Surely God was in this place, and I didn't know it. How awesome is this place?" Our tradition teaches us that angels, and yes, Judaism does believe in angels exist with a specific job. A few weeks ago, we read about our patriarch Avraham, sitting outside the door of his tent. 3 beings approached him, which we interpret as the angels. One had the purpose of aiding with his recovery from circumcision. Another came to announce that Sarah would give birth to Isaac, and the third came to warn about the destruction of Sodom and Gomorrah. Now, in this week's parsha, these angels were ascending and descending the ladder because the angels that had accompanied Jacob on his journey inside the land of Israel had fulfilled their role and were now ascending to heaven, while a new set of angels were descending from heaven to accompany Jacob on his journey outside the land of Israel. Be that as it may, what strikes me the most about these angels ascending and descending heaven is that this upward and downward movement seems to reflect our lives as well. It certainly reflects Jacob's. His life was a series of ups and downs, peaks and valleys. Like Jacob, sometimes we may wish life were different from this. Just the peaks, not the valleys, thank you very much. Our aim may often be for the triumphs, for the successes, for the peak experiences. During the moments of in-between, where most of our lives are lived, we may simply be biding our time until our next big achievement, our next vacation, our next big event or celebration. Much of spiritual life, too, aims for the upward direction, the mountaintop, the transcendent, heaven, blissful, extraordinary experiences. It may seem obvious that without the valleys, we would lack the appreciation of the high points of life. After all, we all aspire to be enlightened. Yet the downward direction of life into the valley, into the depths, perhaps even into the shadows of experience and existence, can offer balance, a way to feel the movement of life as we journey through our years. Like the angels in Jacob's dream, we must experience heaven and earth. We need to embrace both. It was the Jungian psychotherapist and former monastic Thomas Moore who profoundly brought this point home in the 1990s with his best-selling book called Care of the Soul. Moore celebrates the downward, descending movement of human life. For Moore, soul is about depths, mysteries, shadows, complexities, and weightiness. This in contrast to spirit, which is light, clear, airy, transcendent, and aiming upward. Moore and his celebrated teacher James Hillman frequently spoke about growing down, that is, adding substance, weight, and depth to our character and experience of life. Think of moments in your life that were complex, weighty, or even difficult for you. Perhaps it was a family conflict, or a loss of some kind, or a career struggle. Having come through these valleys, have you not discovered within yourself more wisdom, perhaps, more compassion, more meaning, imagination, more richness, more soul? I've heard many times from those who have had illness that they were able to use the lessons of that in moving forward and helping others through their own struggles. This time of the year can magnify the complexity of life. Being with family and friends, overabundance of calories, gift giving and receiving, and missing those who once were part of our holiday celebrations and who no longer walk the earth. The physical and spiritual experience and darkness of this time of year can cause us to focus on the valleys rather than the heights of our existence. The poet John Keats wrote, "Call the world, if you please, the vale of soul making. Indeed, valley and soul go together." Perhaps this is why the 23rd Psalm touches us so deeply. "Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you, God, are with me. You have anointed my head with oil, and my cup overflows." Our experience of the valley, no less than our experience of the heights, leads us to the realization of the fullness of life. By ascending and descending, our cup overflows. May each of us this week embrace the valleys as well as the peaks of our lives. May we discover the richness and soul growth that takes place during the difficult and dark times of our lives. May we perceive such inevitable times as opportunities to grow in wisdom and compassion, so that regardless of our circumstances, we can truly say, "My cup overflows, for I do realize that God is in this place." Ken Yehi Ratzon, may it be God's will. Our service continues on page 509 and 586 for the Aleinu, and I invite you to rise.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גאולה ליוצא בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגור עלינו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא, ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
You may be seated. We turn our thoughts now to those whose time on earth has ended, those who are recent mourners, those who might be observing the death of a loved one as years have gone by. If you are in the Shiva period, the first 7 days of mourning, I invite you to rise, share the name of your loved one with us. If you are in Shloshim, the first 30 days, I invite you to rise. If you are in the first year of mourning, I invite you to rise and mention your loved one's name. And if you are observing, oh, I'm sorry.
Jonathan Kaysen.
If you are observing a yort site this week, I invite you to rise and share the name of your loved ones. Are there names in the chat box that might be mentioned?
We have one for Jonathan Kazin and Wendy Siscon, and Jim with his name first year.
Thank you. We also mark the yort site of Esther Robbins, Benjamin Rivkin, Murray J. Cohen, Irvin Levin, Shay Brushke, Jack Kleitz, Jeanette Carl, Sumner Robinson, and Carolyn Block. For those mentioned and those we hold in our hearts, if it is your custom to rise for the Kaddish, I invite you to do so and join us on page 598 as we join our mourners. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, be'alma divrach chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon u'v'yomechon, u'v'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael, ba'agala u'v'zman kariv v'imru amen. Yehe shemei Rabbah mevarach le'alam u'lalmei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yithadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal shemei dekudesha b'richu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbechata v'nechemata. Da'amiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehe shalama rabba min shemaya. V'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Ose shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. May the one who sends peace send peace to all who mourn, and comfort to all who are bereaved, as we say, amen.
Amen.
You may be seated, if I didn't say so. A couple of announcements of events that are coming up for us. A lot of great activities in the month ahead. Of course, we will have a wonderful Hanukkah celebration on the 21st, I believe.
Is that our Shabbanica?
Shabbanica.
Shabbanica.
I think you came up with that
I
phrase.
sure did. I promise I wasn't the first one, though.
Lots of fun. We will be having our family celebration, tying in Shabbat and Hanukkah during the service and following with special Shabbat and Hanukkah treats. Gabrielle will be adding something wonderful, I'm sure. And Rachel White,
It's what we do.
It's what we do. Lots of fun. So don't miss out on that. And then in January, we have two amazing events coming up. Number one is our Casino Royale. You may have seen this beautiful flyer. It's our big fundraiser of the year. Opportunities to win lots of prizes. And you can also sponsor part of the event and help us to keep TBT thriving and amazing with your support.
And
in all
keep
kinds of ways.
offering wonderful programs for
Yes,
everybody to enjoy.
Absolutely. And then on the 21st, we have secured a wonderful guest speaker. Her name is Rabbi Deborah Prince, and she wrote a book called On the Chocolate Trail, Jews and the History of Chocolate. And so for those of you who are on our virtual congregation, I invite you to come in that day, fly in from wherever you are, Phyllis,
Mom.
and join us for a wonderful Shabbat service followed by lunch and chocolate galore.
Mm-hmm.
We had her here a few years ago, and we had 3 complete full tables of chocolate desserts with a competition and prizes. And Rabbi Prince will be speaking about Jews and the history of chocolate. So don't miss it, January 21st. More information coming soon. I'm sure I'm missing some other activities, but watch your tidbits that now arrive on Thursday in your email. And I think that is it. Adult education.
Adult education.
Which part? All kinds of adult. Oh,
Your
you just-
Hebrew class
My Hebrew
is
class
happening.
started 2 weeks ago. It's not too late to start. It is beginning Hebrew, and I can catch you up if you have not any experience yet. 2 of my students are actually in the sanctuary tonight. Welcome, welcome. And we have students from all over the country and beyond. We actually have one student joining us from Australia. No, Mauritius? Near Madagascar. So she is 12 hours ahead of us. So we are meeting at 5:30 p.m., which means she is joining us at 5:30 a.m. Now that's dedication to learning.
That is dedication.
So we continue with Kiddush. And after Kiddush and our closing song, please join us in the social hall for our oneg. And so page 122 for Vayachulu, followed by Kiddush.
ויהי ויבוקר יום השישי, ויחולו השמיים והארץ וכל צבאם, ויכל אלוהים ביום השביעי מלאכתו אשר עשה, וישבות ביום השביעי מכל מלאכתו אשר עשה. ויברך אלוהים את יום השביעי ויקדש אותו, כי בו שבת מכל מלאכתו אשר ברא אלוהים לעשות. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, בורא פרי הגפן. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, אשר קידשנו במצוותיו ורצה בנו, ושבת קודשו באהבה וברצון הנחילנו, זיכרון למעשה בראשית, כי הוא יום תחילה למקראי קודש, זכר ליציאת מצרים. כי בנו בחרת ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים, ושבת קודשך באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו. ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת לחיים.
Our closing song is Shalom Rav. It's regular wine tonight. Last week, Mark, was pumpkin spice wine.
It's not wine.
Was not a big hit with Mark. So, and you know what? Since I won't be here tomorrow morning, I want to wish you a Nesia Tova, a safe and happy trip. Mark and Joan are leaving this coming week for Israel and Jordan for a wonderful spiritual adventure. So, Shalom Rav,
We are on
page
page
178. Please join us.
Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki ata melech adom lecha shalom. Ki ata
Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat
Have a good
Shalom.
Shabbat. Don't forget, services tomorrow at 10 o'clock.
We will see
Preceded
you.
by Torah study at 9.
Yes. We will see you tomorrow morning.
Yay.
And now we fade to black.